Welcome back to our channel as we transport you to Jerome, Arizona, a quirky tourist town that has masked much of its rugged mining past. Beneath the town's modern-day surface, we'll delve into the harsh realities of old miner life, the haunting cemeteries, and the struggle to reclaim history from the clutches of time and indifference. In the heart of Arizona's rugged high country, established in 1876 as a remote mining camp, Jerome witnessed a rapid influx of those seeking fortune. Its isolation, perched atop a treacherous 4,500-foot mountain, made leaving the town difficult. Eventually taken over by the Phelps Dodge mine, figuratively, it was a challenge to get out of Dodge. Jerome's early days inflicted primitive living conditions, lawless chaos, and a relentless, deadly pursuit of fortune, marked by rampant accidents, disease, and glaring inequality. We'll navigate this dusty, chaotic town, discover the remnants of the underground fire that burned for over 60 years, and travel to remote cemeteries being reclaimed by the desert, where faded wooden crosses, rusted metal pipes, and rock mounds memorialize generations of Jerome's inhabitants. Now, with you alongside, we're ready to uncover the layers of history buried deep beneath the surface. So let's embark on this journey together and explore the haunting past of Jerome, Arizona's old mining town. We're off the beaten path. Perched atop Cleopatra Hill sat a bustling town, drawn by the riches buried below. Jerome was founded on a vast copper deposit, attracting a rowdy mix seeking their fortunes. Miners extracted precious ore as smelter workers processed the copper. Freighters hauled the heavy loads, while saloon keepers poured drinks for the gambling men. Upstairs, prostitutes beckoned as storekeepers stocked shelves below. Preachers called out salvation amidst the sin. Wives and children fostered community spirit. This colorful cast shaped Jerome's early days, unified by the promise of wealth from the mines deep underground. Living conditions were crude in Jerome's beginnings. Miners often dwelled in tents, wagons, or makeshift shacks with few amenities like running water or sanitation. The town's rapid growth created crowded, dusty, chaotic conditions. Mining and ore mills ran 24/7, adding to the disarray. And below Jerome's surface, an underground fire in Jerome's mines burned for over 60 years after starting from a miner's candle. Despite reaching intense temperatures, the widespread fire never broke the surface, though smoke would rise from cracks, spreading across 60 acres underground. The fire contributed to later tunnel collapses before finally being extinguished by sealing the mines in 1992. Fatal accidents and diseases were facts of life with the hazardous mining and lack of health care. Supplying the remote town was difficult and prices were high for imported goods. Income inequality developed between the mine owners and the laborers. After the railroad reached Jerome in the late 1880s, more civilizing influences arrived like churches, newspapers, banks, and hotels, but it remained a rough mining town. When a miner was killed in an accident or died of illness or infection, their bodies would usually be removed from the mine and placed somewhere nearby. In some cases, bodies were left in the mines if too difficult to remove. With the transient nature of mining towns and lack of coffins, scavenging animals would often dig up shallow graves. Uncovered bones and boot hill burial grounds were common sights. When the first cases of Spanish flu appeared in September of 1918, the small existing cemetery in Jerome was quickly overwhelmed. Jerome took emergency measures, establishing a makeshift hospital in the high school gymnasium. At the height of the outbreak, Jerome's undertaker was reporting 5 to 10 burials per day. With so many dying each day, burial crews could not keep up with the individual burials or ceremonies. Mass graves were dug to accommodate multiple bodies at once. Because the ground was so hard and rocky, graves were usually dug shallow, only about 3 to 5 feet deep. Some coffins resurfaced over time. Little care was given to plot locations or orderly layouts in the burial grounds. Often the deceased were buried while still wearing their boots. Wind and rain would erode the soil, and because the graves were very shallow, Graves on the hillside would eventually have boots appearing from underneath, hence the name Boot Hill. Grave markers were scarce, but graves were outlined by arranging rocks. There were practical reasons for placing rocks on top of graves. Rocks outlined where a body was buried, which was important in remote areas before permanent markers were erected. They deterred scavenging animals like coyotes, birds, and other wildlife from unearthing shallow burials. The added weight of larger rocks pressed down on loose, shifting sands, preventing erosion from exposing the remains. Where caliche or bedrock prevented deep digging, rocks offered an alternative to stabilizing plots. The cemetery bears witness to the influenza pandemic's devastating impact. Incredibly, up to 51 were buried in 1 month that year, with at least 700 total based on the surviving records. But vandalism and lost documentation erased most of the identities and plots over time. The landscape of the cemetery mirrors the harshness of the lives it memorializes. Rusting metal pipes and makeshift markers bear witness to the struggles of mining families. The grand view of the Verde Valley contrasts the untended graves, faded names, and crumbling markers that seem forgotten over time. The haunting beauty of this cemetery stands as a testament to the immigrant workers who gave it their all, even in death, for a chance at a better life. We hope to honor their memory, pulling this sacred ground from the grasp of time and indifference. We were curious about the metal piping prevalent as grave markers. Mining sites provided ample pipe scraps and metal fragments. Unable to afford formal markers, destitute families would use what resources they had. Piping needed no special skills to erect and could be hammered into the rocky ground or propped up on fences. Simple yet sturdy, these metal memorials stand as reminders of Jerome's economic hardship. Sadly, this neglected cemetery was lost for years beneath tangled weeds and debris. The isolated graves felt utterly forgotten, with only nameless rock mounds marking generations of miners and laborers. But we found a man working to restore dignity to this site. John diligently labors to clear away the undergrowth, honoring the immigrants buried here through his devotion. He carefully pulls weeds and straightens faded crosses, braving the elements along with broken glass, thorny brush, and rough terrain, representing the hope that the cemetery's splendor can be reclaimed from obscurity. Though much work remains, John's commitment has already rescued parts from erasure. Led by his patient example, perhaps more caretakers will aid in preserving the cemetery's heritage. There's still hope for honoring those laid to rest here so long ago before their graves fully fade into the desert wilderness.
Help the channel by hitting the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos about the hidden histories of small towns like Jerome. Let us know in the comments if you've ever visited Jerome or its historic cemeteries. We'd love to hear your experiences and thoughts on preserving these pieces of history.
At its peak, Jerome was once home to over 10,000 people in the 1920s and became nearly deserted after the mines closed in the 1950s. However, Jerome didn't stay a ghost town for long. Thanks to the resilience of the remaining residents, Jerome reinvented itself as a tourist destination, historic landmark, and an arts and culture hub. Locals decided to preserve and restore the town's heritage, attracting visitors and new businesses. Jerome became a National Historic Landmark in 1967 and a State Historic Park in 1968. It also developed a vibrant arts and crafts scene. The town embraced its spooky past with ghost town tours and haunting tales. Jerome also grew to a popular wine destination with tasting rooms located throughout. Blending old and new, Jerome offers a unique vibe that's equal parts cozy and creepy, blending the past seamlessly with the present. Like a phoenix rising from ashes, Jerome has proven its ability to survive and thrive against all odds. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more interesting travel adventures. And don't forget to check out our other videos where we explore more amazing places. Please let us know if you visited an old Western cemetery and what you discovered, or have any ideas for future places that we can visit. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time off the beaten path.